and a brew, discussing movies while kicking back, whether they are good or they're bad. With the hottest movies and non-released, I am talking about details and what I see. So tune into the podcast while I vent with reviews, news, and nonsense, yeah.
And now, recorded live from the capital of the first state of these great United States, Keith.
Oh, so it seems like it's been a long time since I've spoken with you guys, and but I'm back, and I've seen so many movies. I've been to several festivals at this point. I'm in the midst of the Philadelphia Film Festival right now, but about a month ago, I went to the Fantastic Fest in Austin. First time there for genre type movies, and I'm going to talk to you about my favorite of the festival, which is a movie called A Monster Calls. I think one of the ways that I would characterize this movie is that, you take one part, the opening sequence of Guardians of the Galaxy with young Star-Lord and his mom, and you add into that mix a good, healthy dose of Where the Wild Things Are. And you wouldn't be completely far off, except the tone of this is obviously a lot more like Where the Wild Things Are, because it deals with a kid's imagination and some impending loss. It's based on a book, the book, the same, I think it's of the same name, which was posthumously completed. It was originally it began by British author Siobhan Dowd. I don't know, Siobhan. I'm not sure how you pronounce her first name, but it was she had cancer, and obviously you can see the tie-in with the book. And she died at age 47, and the book was actually completed by an American author named Patrick Ness. This is a tearjerker. I mean, I actually kind of cried in this movie a little bit. I didn't admit that to anybody there at the time, but I'm kind of admitting it to you now. I did. There was a lot of sniffles in the place. It's definitely dark. It earns its PG-13 rating, but it really treats the topic of loss and denial, honestly, completely from the perspective of 13-year-old Connor O'Malley, who's played by MacDuougall. And the cast is actually pretty good in this. Felicity Jones plays his mom, who's got cancer, and she pretty much doesn't really tell her son, anything, but doesn't really let him in on what's going on. She keeps things very light. She keeps saying that she's going to get additional treatments and clearly she's at the end of the line for this, and the treatments that she has are not being effective. And yet she continues to tell her son that she's going to be able to recover, and continues that fairy tale to some extent. And the real crux of the movie is Connor basically is struggling with the growing knowledge that his mother is not going to be okay, and how he deals with that. His grandmother, who is played by Sigourney Weaver, comes into the picture, and she's coming in to take care of Connor because his mother's not really able to do it. Connor's been sort of taking care of his mom a little bit, and it's really kind of unfair to him. And to some extent, the grandmother kind of knows that eventually Connor's probably going to have to come live with her. And he does not get along with her because she's very neat and picky, and he does not see her as a loving, caring caregiver. He also has a father. They're in England, and he has a father that lives in L.A. that comes to see him, and essentially he has started another family. He has a kid and he has a wife, and he kind of, Connor was kind of jumping on the fact, well, can I come live with you? And he, Dad's not going to really, take him in either. So, so you can see that, he's got some issues there. So, he's also a kid that's getting picked on in school, which is kind of normal, but, that in and of itself wouldn't be something tragic. But with all the other things going on, this leads to a pretty traumatic thing for this young kid who's dealing with all these things, and he's giving lip service to the fact that he's believing in what his mom's saying, but his dreams and fantasies start to tear that down. And one night there's this giant yew tree in the backyard. He's I don't know whether you'd consider him asleep or awake at this point, but the yew tree turns into a monster that comes up and talks to him, and the monster is excellently voiced by Liam Neeson, who has that low timbre voice, who gives this tree an exceptional quality. It was fantastic. And basically the tree tells him that he's going to tell him 3 different stories, and that at the end of those 3 stories, young Connor is going to have to tell him the meaning of his own dream and nightmare that he has recurring. And this nightmare is one where he's in like a graveyard type place, and the ground swallows up his mom, and he tries to reach out to save her because she's reaching for him. And he wakes up as she falls in, and he can't save her. So the big tree monster, which he says that after those 3 stories that he tells, you're going to have to tell me what that means, because you know what it means. And it all leads up to that, and really the stuff with the tree monster, it starts to take place in his real life, and it has consequences. These stories that are told that he tells, because the monster implies that he's going to help him through this, and it was really a beautiful story. It's definitely a very weighty, sort of dark, sad topic, and yet with the fantastic elements, it's of Connor's imagination and the way it unfolds. You really feel for all the characters. It's one of those things where too you look at all the cast around Connor, with Sigourney Weaver, Felicity Jones, even Liam Neeson. All the characters add to it, and you really can understand what each one of them's going through. It was just really done well, really cast well. The tone, the way it was shot, was beautiful. I almost, I can't give it like high enough praise. I think it's definitely was my favorite for Fantastic Fest, and it's definitely in the top 5 movies of the year. Very close, maybe number one or two. Probably not number 1, because there's another one I've seen recently that I really enjoyed that I think trumps it probably. But this, you can't go wrong going to see this. This is going to open. It was supposed to open earlier in the fall, but it's been pushed back to December 23rd. And I highly encourage you to go see it when it comes out. I think you're going to like it. And I've got a bunch of stuff to go through here soon, so I'm going to continue to try to push through all these, especially since we're coming to the Oscar season, and I've seen some of the movies that I think are going to be front runners, as well as some of the portrayals that are front runners. So I'm going to be sharing those over the next 3 weeks. Anyway, I'll talk to you again soon.
You have been listening to the Movies, Cigars, and a Brew podcast. You can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Spreaker, and Stitcher. Find reviews of other movies, cigars, and beers at moviescigarsandabrew.com. Give a like on Facebook or follow Keith on Twitter at Movie Cigar Beer. Your trailer is coming up next.
Okay, you ready? There we go. What color is that? Maybe if we take a pencil and then we make a face, and then we see the life in the eyes. Life is always in the eyes. There's our monster.
How does the story begin?
With a boy, too old to be a kid.
You're coming to live with me. Don't touch anything.
Too young to be a man.
I no longer see you.
What did he do?
He that you hide, the truth you dream.
I'm sorry you have to face this, but you have to be brave. Do you understand?
What shall I destroy next?
Break the windows!
Break them yourself.
It's okay that you're angry. I'm angry too. And if you need to break things, by God, you break them. I wish I had 100 years. 100 years I could give to you. I'm afraid.
Of course you are afraid. But you will make it through. For this is why you called